Hello and welcome. It's Houston Open time, Houston Open 2026 and game day number 2. We are here for another matchup. It's the Beyblazers taking on the Prime Raider Gladiators, a team that's played 2 games yesterday, Beyblazers, so they will be a little tired, potentially a little sore, and taking on a side that hasn't played yet. The Prime Raider Gladiators had a day off yesterday, so they will be fresh and ready to roar today. We're going to take a quick look at a points table from all the action yesterday. Beyblazers, they've played and picked up 2 points yesterday. Atlanta Fire also up on there with that win. We covered that game right here on this ground as well. And we take a look at the Gladiators. Haven't played a game yet. The only ones to not have played a game yet. So they'll be ready to get into the action. That was Group A, and we'll take a quick look at Group B. Space City Cowboys up at the top. They've played 2 games, picked up 4 points, and the Eagles on the points table as well with 2 points. It's going to be another beautiful day, expected to be around 30 to 33 degrees Celsius. I'm going to let Brian Walters tell us what that is in Fahrenheit. However, this is Manali Patel alongside Brian Walters, and we're ready to take you through the action today. Have a quick look at the squads. Beyblazers along with the Gladiators. And we've seen the Blazers coming off a win yesterday, winning by 7 wickets. We saw a lot of action in the form of runs. Suleiman, 87 not out, anchored that innings through and through for his side yesterday. The Gladiators, there's a lot of experience on that side. We just haven't quite seen the form that they're going to be coming out with. Quick toss update for you as well. It is the Beyblazers who've won the toss. They will be bowling first. This is now twice in the tournament that they will be bowling first. Yesterday, they were put into bowl first by the Columbus Falcons. So they've got a bit of experience, at least in this round, in starting things off with the ball. Morning, Brian. All set for action, day number 2.
We talked about fast bowlers yesterday for a number of reasons and a number of times. That run-up that you just had would make Michael Holding proud. I will tell you that the Beyblazers, to me, are a very exciting team to watch. Not the least of which is the fact that they have a plethora of left-handers, fast bowling and spinning left-handers. Ghulam Mudassar, Fani Simhadre, Abhishek Paradkar, among the best pace or seam fast bowlers that you'll have in the tournament. Amir Hamza Hotak is a brilliant left-arm orthodox. In fact, I call him left-arm orthodox, but he has a variety of different types of deliveries that he can bowl. Carom ball has one that goes into the lefty, away from the righty, and changes a lot of his delivery. So it's very dangerous in that way. So overall, in this 12-over game, it's going to be a really, really interesting start, and I'm really focusing on watching the bowlers.
Well, the one thing that I want to be watching from yesterday to today is the over rate. The Beyblazers bowled first in that final game yesterday and had an extremely slow over rate. I know the umpires have had a chat with them as well, and they will be bringing potential penalties and fielding restrictions if they're not on the over rate today. Now, this is game number 1 with 2 games to go after this, so they absolutely have to be on top of that over rate. It is going to come down to the skipper, of course, Saideep Ganesh, to make sure that he's able to marshal his troops and get his field positions in the right place quicker. Also comes down to making sure that he's able to ask his bowlers not to waste too much time in between deliveries.
Much of that comes down to the skippers. A lot of that comes down to the umpires. And you have one of the better umpires in the country, Owen Brown, who will be marshalling or taking care of the proceedings, ably assisted by, I believe the other umpire is going to be Myron James. But he, particularly Owen Brown, will be making sure that they do exactly that. Get through the overs quickly, try to enforce that 1 minute limit between overs, and essentially push them in a way that maybe they weren't quite pushed as much as it should have been yesterday, but I don't anticipate that will be a big problem today.
Coming to you live from Prairie View Cricket Complex, and how picturesque is that? Beautiful, lush green grass. We don't really have a close-up of the pitch, but I'll try and see if we can get you a closer look at that pitch, because the surface looks good as well. Not as much moisture as there was yesterday. It's a bit more dry, and partly because it has had the time to bake in the sun yesterday. Not really getting the chance to water the pitch yesterday as they were hoping to at the end of the day because of the delayed proceedings, but it does look like it's going to hold together throughout this day. Just small little cracks, and in fact the cracks are not really in the spots where you're expecting the ball to land. It's quite close to where the batters would be batting, so don't really expect anything to really open up to cause an issue for the batters. We saw a little bit of turn yesterday, nothing too much to trouble the batters. I suspect it's going to play very similar to yesterday, though.
One thing to pay attention to is the efforts of the ground staff. 3 matches on the pitch in one day, 2 T20s and a 12-over match, this first match being 12. So you are talking about the number of overs that is bowled on this day, if assuming all the matches go the distance, is more than what you get in a test match, well over 90 overs. There's a good look at the Prairie View, the City of Prairie View's logo. The City of Prairie View, as well as the University of Prairie View, PVA&M, one of the premier universities in this area and in the country, historically black university, and really an important member of the cricket community in this country because of the fact that, yes, that location is the host of the Prairie View Cricket Complex, and certainly something that we can be proud of. Just got a signal from that man there in the middle of your screen, Owen Brown, that the game will be starting in 5 minutes, so we'll be walking out to see as soon as possible when that happens. But I will also tell you, Manali, that I want to see how this team itself performs. I'm talking about specifically the primary, the Gladiators. They're a very loaded side. They have big names. Smith Patel, Milind Kumar, Sujit Gowda, all top-level players. Major leaguers, as well as a couple of them have played for the U.S. I'm speaking, of course, about Smith Patel and Milind Kumar. Milind Kumar, you would have seen him in the recently completed World Cup. And then they also have good youngsters. Sujit Gowda is maybe not quite a youngster anymore, but somebody like an Abhinav Sikaram, who grew up right here in the Houston area. Talking about left-arm fast bowlers, we have Stephen Wigg, you'll see him. And taking a quick look at the most runs scored in the tournament. Manang Patel right at the very top, 94 runs. Not far behind him is Unmuk Chand, who had a couple of really good games yesterday. Sulaiman Arabzai, you mentioned him earlier, looked very, very aggressive in the game yesterday. Nauman Anwar, 83 runs total in a couple of games. And the youngster, Arya Kananta, from again right here in the Houston area, who put a good 68 runs together over the course of 2 games. And the other names that you see down there. As far as the bowlers are concerned, they have been really just dominant. Ritvik Apidi, I thought, was excellent in his game. Ali Sheikh, the young man from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, 5 wickets in 7 overs, economy rate of less than 5. Amshida Silva, saw him yesterday with that beautiful back of the arm slower ball. It's very tricky to get away. And of course, the other names on that list I mentioned earlier, Amir Hamza Hotak. Mohamed Mohsin is somebody we'll see later on in this tournament. And Akhtar Shah Adnit Jam, the youngster from St. Louis. Abhishek Paradkar right here in this game. And I keep saying youngsters. Aaron Nadkarni at the bottom of that list, the son of the great Sushil Nadkarni, former USA captain, and again from right here in the Houston area. So loads of talent all the way around, up and down the field, up and down the lineup. Earlier I mentioned that the other umpire was going to be Maran James. It's actually going to be a young man known as Karthik Mongatil, I believe. So we'll get that as soon as possible, but it's going to be important to see how quickly this team, meaning the primary, the Gladiators, can get off to a fast start. 12-over match, so it's going to be a truncated match. You don't have the full power play that you'd ordinarily have a power play of 6 overs. This power play is going to be 3 overs and 4 balls. And we saw in the game yesterday, the first over went for 2 runs, but then they hit the ground running after that. So it will be interesting to see how quickly these opening batters of the primary, the Gladiators, hit their straps. I feel like I'm just going on for a while here, Manali Patel, but as the Beyblazers take their way on the field, an exciting match awaits us. And let's just say a nice long day of cricket also awaits us.
Got a delayed start as well. It is a shortened game, as you mentioned, 12 over game with a 3.4 over power play. Scheduled to start at 9 a.m. It is 9:08. We're not going to have any reduced overs for that. And this is because of the rain that we had on day 1 and the games that were washed out on that day. Sujit Gora is going to get things started off out in the middle. A lot of experience. And the impressive thing between both of these batters is not just the experience, but the way that they go ahead and approach this shorter format of the game. Smith Patel played a lot of his cricket in India. Another very experienced campaigner out in the middle. Plenty of runs off that bat. Wicketkeeper bat. He's been trying to knock on that USA side for a while as well.
That man in the middle of your screen is who I talked about earlier, Amir Hamza Hotak. You will see a lot of variety from him. The one that goes into the right-handers, the one that goes away from the right-handers. He can be very, very difficult to get away. Economy rate of just over 6, bowling inside the power play. So that tells you the control that he has as a spinner and how difficult he can be to get away.
Really funny. Their team manager came up to me when we got here and he said, listen, just know that our shirts were too tight, so we're not wearing all of our shirts that as they're supposed to be worn. And I said, all good, all good. We will figure a way to work around it.
Boy, this is going to be an interesting matchup. Sujit Gowda, very aggressive at the top of the order. Smith Patel, no less so. Relatively equidistant all the way around, about 62 yards down the ground in either direction. Slightly longer boundary to the west than the east. And so mishits will be caught, clean strikes will clear the ropes, and you'll be looking for a lot of clean stripes here, as it will be Sujit Gowda to take first strike.
Gently pushed into the offside for Dot to start things off. You were very diligent this morning. You went and you measured the ground. I don't know how accurate it is because it was your feet that you were using to measure. Some sort of science behind it though. Oh, that's popped up. Popped up, and that's going to be the first one. This is a very soft dismissal. And Sujit Gora is going to have to walk back. What an excellent start this is with the ball for the Blazers.
Amir Hamza Hotak, very difficult to get away, as I mentioned. And Sujit Gowda going onto the back foot, looking to force that one on the leg side, but just gets the simplest of leading edges. And you'll never get an easier catch than that in the cover. It's a pretty straightforward catch. Taken in that area, I'll tell you that Sujit Gowda looked very quizzically at the wicket as he was walking off. Don't know that the wicket had a whole lot to do with it. Maybe just getting through that shot a little bit too early and just popping up a simple catch into the covers.
I would like to take another look at that replay. I feel like there might have been a little bit of extra bounce on that delivery. That might have just surprised him.
Well, let's take a look. Backing away, opening himself up as though he was playing on the leg side, looking maybe caught in two minds. Young man Abhinav Sikaram from right here in Houston is coming in as the number 3 batter. This is an interesting matchup also because we're talking about a left-handed batter facing a left-handed bowler. So ordinarily that's an advantage to the batter because the ball would normally be turning into him. But all the tricks that Amir Hamza Hotak has, as you see this replay again, yeah, just opening himself up and playing a bit of a, maybe not quite a nothing shot, but certainly a shot that he'd wanted to have gotten more purchase out of. Immediately off the mark here is Abhinav Sikaram, but just one run on the board and already one wicket down. So advantage thus far to the Beyblazers.
Yeah, and if there's anything that we've seen from yesterday, the way the Beyblazers batted in that second innings, you're going to need a good total on the cards for them to be able to, and by them I say for the Gladiators to be able to come out and defend in the second innings. We saw an excellent innings by Silman all around the park. It's the same wicket again, so he's got some comfort on this pitch. He's got some comfort on this ground. There's the reverse. Very early on. Doesn't quite get the placement right, Smith Patel.
Very early on indeed. Over under on the number of reverse sweeps we saw yesterday. 40.
I do like that they've started with pace off. And he has been troubling the batters out in the middle. He's bowling in the right areas. He's also rushing the batters. Not too much turn yet.
What a brilliant first over that one is by Amir Hamza Hotak. One wicket and only one run conceded. Just brilliant stuff. That's exactly what you want to see from your opening spinner. One over in the books. 1 for 1.
I think the thing that he did really well, Amir Hamza, is he followed the batter. That angle into the right-hander, cramping him for room. And then Sujit Gauda just got in an awful position. No real control whatsoever on that shot. 1 for 1, 1 over in. How are those numbers for you?
It warms my heart. Absolutely warms my heart.
1-1-1. Isn't that Nelson?
No, that does not count as Nelson.
Oh, that does not count
as...
as...
score being 111 for 1 in the first day of a test match, I'm in heaven.
You can't keep changing the rules on this. It's going to be White to start things off. Ghulam Mudassir, just a little too outside that guidance line. Now, he was a bit all over the place yesterday as well, and he'll want to try and find some consistency today.
Ghulam Mudassir, for me, is a brilliant bowler. Yet another left-handed bowler. You'll see a plethora of them in this match. But the advantage that he has, he's very skiddy. Comes at you typically very aggressive. And what I also like about him, he has enough pace, but he does have the variety, and you want to have that variety as an opening bowler. The typical stock delivery to him or by him swings into the right-handed batting Smith Patel away from Abhinav Sikaram, the lefty. So I think you'll see some evidence that that's the type of aggression. He'll come at the bowlers, typically at the batters rather, typically invites them to play on the front foot, but he does have a good enough short ball that can keep them honest as well.
All that is great if it comes out according to plan and consistently. And unfortunately, yesterday, he just wasn't consistent enough. Short, wide, gets away with it. What do you reckon is going to be a good score at the end of this 12-over innings?
Oh, jeez.
I didn't ask you your win predictor today.
We're 8 deliveries into
I mean, based on squads.
Into the match, Manali Patel.
Based on the squads, who are you thinking?
Based on the squads, I would certainly say that it's going to be a really interesting game, and I look forward to see who wins. That's the commentator's equivalent of letting one go through to the keeper.
So, I mean, I'm looking at the squads right now, and there's a lot of batting in this Gladiator squad. But we've seen some incredible batting yesterday from the Blazers. I'm going to say... I'm going to go Gladiators.
What it feels like to me is the irresistible force against the immovable object. The irresistible force being the bowling prowess of the Beyblazers. All the left-handed prime bowlers that they have versus a really strong batting lineup with the primary Gladiators. The top order is among the best in this tournament. It's really hard to make a call, and particularly you have a truncated match, so that makes it even more difficult to make a call. But
come on, be brave. Make a call.
My call.
It's going to be another wide.
I'm going to go Beyblazers.
All right, and the loser has got to buy lunch, yeah?
Losers is such a strong word, Manada Patel.
Well, that is what you would be if you don't win, isn't it?
Once again, allowing that one to go through to the keeper. Thuds into the keeper's gloves, 30 yards behind us.
I think it is a pretty good matchup, though. You're absolutely right. Two very good squads. Oh, that is well bowled. And that ricochet might have just stung the fingers a little bit.
Yeah.
Overall, a decent over, but it's the two wides we saw yesterday. The odd no ball ended up going for 6. The odd no ball ended up giving the game. You just have to be so accurate in these shorter formats of the game. There's no leeway for this sort of extra bleeding of not just that one single from the wide, but it's that additional delivery.
Of course, you do not have any margin for error in these shorter games. 12 overs. T20 is short enough, but you have 72 balls. That's all that you face. You certainly have to get them right. Oh.
Down the ground, and it's going to beat every fielder in that inner circle. This has raced away to the boundary. It's the first boundary of the innings as well.
Brilliant strike from Smith Patel. Just getting a little bit too full there.
And that's exactly my point. You've bowled two wides. You could have had the over completed by now already. And there's that additional delivery going for a boundary with one more to come.
Smith Patel is a high-class player. You cannot overpitch in the way that you just did. I think the delivery that you'd want is one just short of driving length to him.
Flicked off the pads, and what a shot this is. Absolutely effortless as this flies over the heads of the fielder for 6.
Well, the 2 extra balls went for 4 and 6. And that's a lesson, kids. Do not bowl any wides. If you bowl wides, you get punished. The line here is too straight. Coach Manala Patel is taking credit for this one. But I'll tell you this. From over the wicket, left-hander, you want that ball to be well outside the line of off stump. That was heading toward his pads from over the wicket, not threatening the stumps in any way, and he absolutely cashes in on that, Smith Patel. Can't bowl that line, and he gets punished. 15 runs come from that over, 16 for 1.
And what would have been a very good over is now a very expensive over. 16 for 1. And they're starting to recover from the loss of early wicket off, or I should say of Sujit Gowda.
An over that would have only cost him 3, cost him 15. 2 wides, a 4 and a 6.
Very wide delivery. And this is why, again, I'm going to say accuracy and consistency is important. You can have all the variations, but if you can't consistently execute, then you will bleed runs.
Now, big difference here between the 2 opening bowlers. 8 deliveries bowled by Amir Hamza Hotak, and he's only yet conceded 1 run. 8 deliveries, 6 legal, bowled by Ghulam Mudassar, and he's conceded 15. So the consistency and the pace off, I think, is something that also could be pointed out, because that makes a big difference as well.
Slight misfield. It's not going to cost them any runs, though. See, we always talk about partnerships in batting, but you've also got partnerships in bowling. So Amir Hamza is doing a really good job keeping the pressure on. He's picked up a wicket. He's building dot ball pressure. And then you've got all that pressure released on the other end. And you can't have that. You've got to try and work in tandem. You've got to try and keep that pressure on over to over. Because now what you've done with an expensive 15 run over the over before is you've allowed the batters to take their time and just see this one off.
You know, we had a plethora of fast bowlers in the West Indies in the 70s, and it was always said that our great fast bowlers hunt in pairs. And you have somebody coming at you from one end who is consistent and hard to get away. That, you're exactly right. That pressure can be given away. And speaking of pressure being given away, that is a huge strike by Abhinav Sikaram, goes for the second 6 of the day. So that one maybe just a little bit too straight from Amir Hamza Hotak, and Abhinav Sikaram taking full toll.
Rare missed delivery. He's been so consistent. Just a little too full. And allows for the batter to be able to get under it very comfortably.
Having said that,
well, back-to-back 6s, or 2 6s, I should say, and it's finally resulted in a wicket. A pretty comfortable catch in the end. And despite the maximum, the ball before, Amir Hamza is going to get the final laugh. He has now picked up 2 wickets, 7 for 2, and it's 22 for 2 after 3.
Forgive me, Manali Patel. I did not in any way realize that he chopped that on. Looking at the replay now, I see that that's chopped onto the leg stump. I thought it was just a dot that ended the over, but he actually chopped it on, Abhinav Sikaram. So that is a big one. He concedes the 6, but the very next ball, he gets the wicket. Amir Hamza Hotak is absolutely brilliant, opening the bowling. Only conceded 7 runs so far and has taken 2 wickets. Excellent stuff from the lefty. Well, Manali Patel, that was interesting. Amir Hamza Hotak has bowled brilliantly, conceded 1 6, but the very next ball he gets Abhinav Sikaram 22 for 2. Remember, it was 11 for 1 after 1, was it? Not after 2, but it was 11 for 1 at 1. 1 for 1. 1 for 1 after 1. Now 22 for 2 is the score after 3. The new batter in is Milind Kumar. Smith Patel, Milind Kumar, both high-level players. You cannot get 2 bigger players in the middle than that. This is going to be an interesting passage of play. Smith Patel, 11 from 6. You saw a couple of boundaries, a 4 and a 6 from him. Ghulam Mudassar has been taken out of the attack.
And I wouldn't quite say that's the worst of moves. Like 15 runs off and over can be very expensive. And in a shortened game, you want to try and limit it as much as you can. This is the wicket. Completely chopped on, deep in his crease as well. And what a comeback. You've just been smashed for 6. You come back, you bowl an absolute beauty. And you get your man.
certainly got his man, and he would take giving up a 6 every time if the next ball is going to be wicket. Excellent exchange in that situation.
Good change up as well. A bit of an extra bounce on this one. Puts us back into this delivery.
So your bowler is Yusuf Zazai. Yusuf Zazai, right armer, so the first right arm bowler that we've seen in the match so far. And by the way, 2 more deliveries remaining inside the power play. Again, the power play is 3 overs and 4 balls.
They've just dropped long on to the boundary and brought deep point back in. The 2 fielders outside for the power play. Oh dear. Nearly had another chopped on delivery.
He defended it. The ball rolled onto the stumps, made contact with the stumps, but the bails were not dislodged. You don't see that happen very often. Boy, he might consider himself lucky there, Smith Patel. Look at this replay. Defending, and it rolls back and hits the base of middle and off, but the bails do not get dislodged. He should go buy a lotto ticket tonight, Smith Patel, because that does not happen very often.
Are they glued on?
Oh my goodness.
They didn't even move.
It did not even move. Wow.
We've seen.
Absolutely amazing. So after that delivery, that does indicate the end of the power play. See the umpire signaling there. Look at this again. Defends it with an angled bat, so that makes the ball roll back towards the stumps, and it knocks middle and off, and the bail stays on. Has there been some super glue placed on those bails is what I'd want to know, because that usually results in a wicket. Wow. Now watch this young man, Milind Kumar. You saw him star for the U.S. in the recently completed World Cup. Tons and tons of runs over a long first-class career in India, and now playing for the U.S. One of the better batters that you'll see anywhere in the country.
Oh, there's a bit of extra bounce on that one. That's really taken off, hasn't it, off the surface?
It's taken off, but I think that landed closer to Yusuf Zazai than to Milind Kumar. That's as short a ball as you'll ever see. That ball probably gets to the batter 10 feet high. So obviously a ball that bounces over the top of the batter when he's in his normal standing position. As you see here, look at that. That is just sailing well and truly over the top. Really a wasted ball. A short ball needs to be at the batter's shoulder or head. This is just not going to trouble any batter.
Oh, comedy of errors. This is why we don't kick the ball in cricket.
Yeah, wrong sport there.
I must say that this is a very good bowling start. They are causing problems. The Blazers, they're bowling in the right areas. They're not afraid to put the short one in as well. And they're bowling in tight areas, which is making it very difficult for the batters to be able to commit to any of the shots. And despite the 3.4 over power play being done, it's not been a very expensive one for them. And of course, when you pick up 2 big wickets, that you would think is going to give you a lot of confidence for the rest of this game, for the rest of this innings.
Well, the majority of the damage was done in that second over. The one bowled by Ghulam Mudassar. The one with a couple of wides that created the 2 additional balls, each going for the distance, 4 and 6. Take that over out, or at least take those loose deliveries away, and we're talking about a match with less than 12 runs in it. And you've already gotten through the power play. And again, we're only playing 12 overs. So excellent bowling. Apart from that 1 over from Ghulam Mudassar, excellent bowling so far for the Beyblazers.
It will be a single to end the over. Another decent over comes to an end. 4 overs gone, 25 for 2. Well, not the start that the Gladiators would have liked today. They've lost a couple of early wickets, losing Sujit Gowda for a duck. And you're going to think that Smith Patel is going to have to anchor this innings with Milind Kumar. 2 proper bats. And they still need quite a few more runs from here on.
A couple of wickets that have fallen in the first one. Amir Hamza Hotak inducing a false shot from Sujit Gowda, pretty straightforward catch in the cover area. And then the second one just chopping on Abhinav Sikaram after he hit a big 6 over long on. Amir Hamza Hotak comes right back to get his man. And speaking of whom, Amir Hamza Hotak will be bowling his 3 overs on the trot here. In the short form of the game, 2 bowlers get to bowl 3 overs and 3 get to bowl 2. And so it is Amir Hamza Hotak who is going to bowl his last over here. Great delivery. That goes past the outside edge of Milind Kumar. Full attack here for the Beyblazers. 2 slips in position. They're wanting to get that next wicket from Amir Hamza Hotak in his last over.
He seems like quite the character too, doesn't he? Amir Hamza. He's very, very animated.
Oh! Was that a catch or was that a bump ball?
I think that was a bump ball.
Bump ball, okay. My eyes, again, I'm wearing glasses, but they're, I might have to have the prescription checked.
I just like the personality that he brings onto the field. Even during the warm-up early on, you could just see how he enjoys his cricket. And you want to see that in your players. You want to see them bring in that enthusiasm. It just helps bring enthusiasm in from other players as well.
Well, we saw him at dinner last night, and he took the liberty of pointing out to me that I have been mispronouncing his name. And the mispronunciation actually translates to a very bad word. so I've made sure to say it properly. Amir, I will say also that he, in addition to being very animated and very jovial, he is intense. And he is at you. He has the attitude of a pace bowler in a spinner's body.
Well, and that shows he's picked up 2 wickets so far, but he does it with a smile on his face as well.
Yeah, exactly.
He's bowled a very tight line. He's always keeping those stumps in contention.
Can you imagine 1 ball remaining in his spell in a 12-over match? That last ball coming up, he's conceded only 10 runs and has already taken 2 wickets. What an absolutely brilliant bowling spell so far.
There's the reverse, and this is really well played. It's going to be a 1 bounce for Smith Patel, latching on to the last delivery of Amir Hamza's spell. 5 overs gone. It's 32 for 2.
The reverse indeed, and nobody out there at deep third. So you'll accept that all day if you're Smith Patel, but take nothing away from Amir Hamza Hotak, who has bowled an absolutely brilliant spell. He might be a little frustrated with the fact that he just conceded a boundary off that last ball, but my goodness, look at the replay again. Reaction says all you need to know there. So he's irritated at the fact that he gave that up, but again, take nothing away from him. 3 overs in a 12-over match, 2 for 14. Brilliant stuff.
That was very well played, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Smith Patel, very steady, kept his head steady as well. Mm-hmm. And the impressive part was his bat speed through that shot.
Yep.
He's now played the reverse twice.
Milind Kumar. See him wearing the USA Cricket helmet. Somebody who again has represented the US repeatedly. most recently in the recently completed World Cup in India and Sri Lanka. And speaking of left arm fast bowlers, here's another one, Abhishek Paradkar. To me, one of the better bowlers in the country as well. Young man, I would give Abhishek Paradkar around 22, 23, and he is genuinely a star. Also does well with the bat.
What does your pathway look like? If you're a junior growing up in the US, what is your pathway to getting to maybe your state team? I don't know if you have state teams or not, or your what does that pathway look like here?
The pathway, and this is a very long philosophical discussion if you want to have it, I'm not opposed to having it, is very disjointed. As of right now, it means that you'd have to be in an area that allows for you to be recognized. Cut away into the deep, that's just going to be a single. And when I say recognized, it means that it is to your advantage if you live near to or are in close proximity to a major program such as a club or an academy. That certainly is to your advantage. It's to your advantage, and it also highlights one of our biggest weaknesses, because if you are a really good cricketer and you live in Kansas, essentially that you don't have anything around you that will allow you to take advantage of your ability. It's very disjointed. It's very undefined. Individual resources that you or your family has a big part to play in whether or not you get to be one of those top players. Again, it's a philosophical discussion. We certainly are not going to solve it today, but I would like to see more of a clearly defined pathway. And we've lost several young cricketers to the fact that that pathway does not exist.
But
and
there
I'm
are also
speaking personally because my own son was one of those players.
But that being said, there are also a lot of good things happening as well. I mean, your under 19 men's team has now gone to back-to-back World Cups. Your women's team, your under 19 women's team has gone to a World Cup. Your under 19 under 19 girls team goes to qualifier this summer, the first one. They have been getting a chance to go automatically because the other region hasn't quite caught up to the under 19 structure. But then you look at your senior sides, and your women's team hasn't really made a World Cup yet, but has consistently been going to the global qualifiers. And your men's side has been going to the World Cups fairly consistently as well. They're fairly high up on that Cricket World Cup League 2 table. So there's development happening and a lot of positives there as well. But absolutely right. Shot down the ground, past the bowler, just doesn't quite have the speed to beat that fielder that's quite straight.
I hope you don't misunderstand what I'm saying. There is good stuff happening. There is no question there is good stuff happening. And when I was on the USA Cricket Board 10 years ago...
I keep forgetting you were on the board.
Was. But where we were then and where we are now, two completely different worlds altogether. If I'm driving from here to Austin, that's a good 120-mile drive.
Yeah.
10 years ago, we were still in Prairie View. Right now, we are about in Bastrop, which is about halfway. There is that distance that still needs to be made up, but there's no question that there's good stuff happening. Oh, that is such a brilliant shot from Milind Kumar. Through the covers for 4. That, for me, so far, is the shot of the day.
Bit too much width. And Abhishek knows it as well. He's a little disappointed with himself, Abhishek Paradkar, because what was a pretty good over so far has just leaked a boundary on the very last delivery. Well played. 4 runs picked up, and end of yet another good over. 6 overs gone, 42 for 2.
Halfway through this match, 42 runs on the board.
But a good partnership also starting to form. So pretty evenly matched up at the moment. And most importantly, they have one of their main frontline spinners bowled out.
That's easily the best, not just the best spinner, the best bowler on the day so far.
So I agree with you. I mean, obviously there are challenges. Associate countries have a lot of challenges because
Yep.
finances are a big part in that. But it's all about building forward. And I think where USA Cricket was 10 years ago compared to now, you've built forward quite a bit. And if you continue that momentum, it's in time you will be well ahead of a lot of the other associate nations. You also have a bit of an advantage being home nation at the LA Olympics in 2028, which
Yep.
means the US men's side gets to play at the Olympics. I believe the women's qualifying process is a little bit different, and the women for some reason do not get an automatic entry. But that's massive to be able to play at an Olympics.
Wearing the red, white, and blue in LA, that is going to be absolutely brilliant. The hope would be that it gives us some momentum as we go to yet another fast bowling left-hander, Faisal Ahmadzai, sorry. The hope would be that we use it as a springboard to development in the way that soccer did in 1994.
So my hope, and I agree with you, the grassroots development is very important, but my hope from the Olympics exposure
Yep.
is to try and get Americans into the sport. They've now got the chance to see a team in American colors
Yep.
in a sport that they're barely exposed to. But this is the Olympics we're talking, and we know Americans like their sports. If we can get Americans to get behind cricket, you've got so much potential here. Not in total control, but it will land safely. That short delivery is just troubling Smith Patel a little bit.
I'll tell you what, that is a great short ball. Again, left-hander bowling over the wicket. Look at this. That is exactly where you want the short ball. Earlier, you saw the short ball bowled from this end by, I believe it was Yusuf Zazai. It bounced 10 feet in the air. That doesn't trouble anyone. This short ball is at his head. From over the wicket with that angle, that is always an awkward angle for a right-handed batter facing a left-handed fast bowler. And that is a really good, sharp, short delivery to a man who is batting on 19 from 15.
Oh, he's latched onto this. And it won't actually make it over the rope. We're still seeing a bit of the waterlogged outfield that we've experienced yesterday. Thought he had a good piece of bat on that, though. Not as short as the delivery before.
Yep.
The right height to be able to pull it away.
Good afternoon, good morning, Mr. Ryan in Davis, California. It is good to hear from you. The less said about your specific message, the better, as that goes away for 4.
Very well played. In total control, really good balance, and watched it all the way onto the face of the bat. And just like that, we have now given one maximum in the over. And this is what they've done so well, the Gladiators. They try and get at least one boundary or one maximum in every single over. It just releases that pressure, and it keeps them on top of that scoreboard. Through the offside this time, and it's going to be in the gap. Oh, this is excellent work in the deep. Outstretched hand just to throw that ball back on the field of play. Would have liked to see that go over the rope. This is an excellent effort in the deep. Lack of pace on that delivery. And it will be a single to end the 7th. 54 for 2 after 7. Ticking along here. Just 8 runs and over, but setting a really good base in this partnership. Milind Kumar, Smith Patel. He's done really well to cover all the ground that he did there. Faisal Ahmadzai, 12 runs coming off his first over. The Beyblazers, they need to try and find a wicket somewhere soon because these two batters are starting to look very settled out in the middle. With 5 overs to go, they can get themselves in a fairly comfortable position from here on. Not nearly as windy as it was yesterday. I mean, Prairie View has always got a little bit of wind, but yesterday was a lot breezier than it is today. And that wind typically going from southeast to northwest on this ground. Overcast conditions continuing. Expected to continue throughout today. Conversation between umpire and skipper, and it might have something to do with potentially getting their players in the right position faster. We know they had a lot of trouble keeping up with the over rate yesterday. In fact, had a chat with Monak Patel after that first innings yesterday. I mentioned as a batter, it's just so frustrating because you're ready for the ball, you're ready for the bowler to come in, and you're waiting so long in between deliveries. It just throws you off, it throws your momentum off. Could be an interesting tactic, but again, you do have to respect the over rate and the timings allocated for the innings to be completed in. Again, massive slowdown between deliveries. We're changing field placements every single delivery. Pulled away and not in the best of control, but this will still fly away for 6 runs. Smith Patel and there just gesturing that you did have to reach for it. He does manage to get enough bat for it to find not just the rope, but the fence past the rope on this occasion. Done very well to get bat on that. And there's that one boundary, one maximum of the over that we've been talking about, a minimum of at least one maximum per over that both of these batters are going for. That's going to be a wide. Just rolling his fingers over that as well. Yusuf Zazai, 1.2 overs, 11 runs. He's been fairly effective. Just the 2 wickets so far. Amir Hamza picking up both of them. Low full toss on the pads. Blazers have just allowed for these 2 batters to settle down and get a decent partnership going. No real pressure after the initial few overs and the 2 wickets lost. Thanks to some really good bowling from Amir Hamza. Down the ground, Milind Kumar. He'll pick up a single.
Good morning, Manali.
Again.
Sometimes real life interrupts our cricket's sojourns. My apologies for having gone silent for the last several minutes.
I don't think anyone was complaining.
I mean, I could leave again if you'd like. Well, look at that pink shirt. I've gotten so many nice comments about the pink shirt.
You got pink.
But we're evenly poised here. This is building into a partnership that could threaten beyond that 100-run mark. I think 100 runs is about what you'd expect in a 12-over match. And you're developing a bit of a partnership here, one that will have to be broken by the East Bay Blazers. Look at this. It's a no ball. Manali gets cut away for a single. But that full toss no ball means that this next ball will be a free hit.
How many times did we see a no ball yesterday go to the rope? Free hit delivery. And often it's not even the free hit delivery that goes to the boundary, it's the extra delivery after that.
Yep.
Just slips out of his hand.
Oh, no question. That's a full toss no ball. That was about chest high.
You sure? You sure you don't want to refute that one?
I'm 100% sure on this one. You got the one yesterday wrong. This one I think you got right. Here's a free hit.
Oh, he's latched onto that. Will he beat the fielder? Nope, he won't. 2 fielders in the deep for that shot. I'd be disappointed. Didn't quite get the elevation he might have liked to get it over the rope.
It was well bowled by Yusuf Zazai. Took the pace off. Pace off into the pitch. So that essentially induced a false shot. You want to make sure that you change your speeds in such a way that you're not predictable. And that's actually very well bowled by Yusuf Zazai.
12 runs off the over already with 1 delivery to go. Rolling his fingers again across the ball and a single to end the over. Oh, looking for the overthrows. 13 runs off the over. 8 overs gone at 68 for 2. Did you have some breakfast this morning?
I did not. I had coffee. I was up working on my day job first thing in the morning.
I actually slept very well yesterday. Made up for not being able to sleep the night before, but also no time for breakfast. And we've got 3 games. You need to fuel yourself because we're in a marathon here.
I would completely agree with that.
This is a test match that we are playing, you and I.
We're playing a test.
And I'm not talking about the test match that, like the Ashes. I'm talking a proper 5-day test match.
Wow! There's somebody in England or somebody in Australia who could be very offended at that statement.
I don't think they'd be offended. I think they would agree that there are some challenges right now.
Wow.
They've got to try and find... I do enjoy the Ashes, though. I really do. I mean, even with the time difference, like I make sure that I stay up and I watch. It's... I'm trying the reverse again. Some of the best cricket you'll watch on TV, isn't it? Or in person if you've got the luxury of being at the ground. Some fantastic cricket gets played.
Well, you're preaching to the choir there, because as predominant as T20 cricket is in the world of cricket these days, the purest and best form of the game for me is Test cricket. We Test cricket fans are a dying breed, but I will fully
and that's
accept
what
that.
I was saying yesterday. You know, I get that most of this cricket following population is in it for the 4s and the 6s now.
Yep.
But there's something about that contest. Big shout. And the umpire says, not out. Smith Patel shows the edge of his bat. And Milind Kumar, who was halfway down the pitch, says, okay, well, I guess we're not running on this. Let me head back.
Tell you what, First of all, I do believe this is an inside edge. Plus, from around the wicket, it's a bit of a difficult ask. On the angle, it may not have gotten any bat on that, but around the wicket on that angle, I think that's missing off stump. But you're exactly right. Milind Kumar was halfway down. This is a closer shout. Umpire Owen Brown taking a much longer look at this one, but also assuming that it's missing. Let's take a look here.
Vikash Mohan, 2-2 now. That was definitely outside the line of leg stump.
Right. So you're asking the ball to do a lot from around the wicket as a right-handed to right-handed batter.
You were a bowler, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
You would have been appealing for everything too.
Absolutely not. And I'll
What?
tell you exactly why. After this ball, I'll tell you. Cut away. Look at that shot for 4.
Now,
Brilliant.
how often do we see this? Vikash, a little bit frustrated, has had 2 calls turned down. Fires this one in short, wide, smashed away for 4 runs.
Oh, it's very wide, very short. Absolutely put away. The reason why you don't appeal for everything as a bowler is because it becomes white noise to the umpire after a while. The umpire sees a couple of short or a couple of close calls and you don't appeal, and then the one that you do appeal for, he takes that appeal more seriously. That's always been the case for me as a player and as an umpire. I subscribe to the same philosophy.
Single to end another over. 9 overs gone. It's 75 for 2. I hear what you're saying. I was very selective with my appealing too, actually. Sometimes I'd give my own teammates a look. I'm like, really? You're actually going to appeal for that? For that? But as fast bowlers, I mean, you guys technically appeal for everything.
Nah. I only appeal when I think it's out. And I think the umpire respects that. And not only does the umpire respect it, he will take your appeal more seriously when you do appeal. I know I'm bowling. Generally, I was left arm over. I'm left arm over. I'm pitching outside the line of leg stump.
So can I ask you a question?
What's that?
Completely separate to what we're actually talking about, and it's more about the message that you showed me earlier.
Okay.
So I am a woman in cricket.
You are a woman in cricket,
who's
yes.
played the sport, someone who is actively involved in the sport.
Yep.
Do you ever realize that when you're making references to the umpire or the player, you are very used to saying he to the umpire and not they to the umpire, because it could be a female umpire?
I am when I'm speaking about umpires, I'm talking specifically about umpires who I have been involved with directly.
Right. Does that potentially impact you because you've kind of just always assumed that it's...
Not in the very least.
Okay. I'm not putting you on the spot. I'm just curious.
Oh, no.
And I'm curious because when I'm running, like when I run coaching courses, this is one of my biggest issues with the coaches that I work with, because they will always reference to the athlete being male, the umpire or the coach being male, and I'm like, well, maybe you might actually have, some females in your academy.
Sure.
And the other one that's a bit of a pet peeve is, batsmen, for example.
No, I mean, we stopped saying that 5 years ago.
You would think, and yet the courses that I run, almost every coach is still saying batsman,
No, that with the sensitivities around being inclusive, we stopped saying batsman about 5 years ago. Oh.
This is glorious. And yet it's just made it over the rope. Smith Patel, 39 off 26. He's anchored this innings. And he continues to find the boundary rope.
Well, Smith Patel and Milind Kumar, we figured that they would be key to a target that is going to threaten. This pair has already put on 57 runs unbroken so far for the third wicket.
It's a good comeback delivery.
It is, and so from your standpoint as a bowler, yes, you've just conceded a 4 that puts you on the back foot, but to be able to come back with that type of delivery, just short enough that it evades the drive, and the width was what you'd expect under the circumstances.
Hacked across the line as they pick up another single. What do you think they might think is going to be par score on this surface?
We saw the 12-over match yesterday that went for, I believe the first inning score was 119, 115, something like, no, 105, I think it was. Anyway, I was expecting in this match the first innings to be around 100 to 110. This bowling effort will have it less than that. That's sliced away for 4, so a loose delivery that time, full and wide. It's a full toss, well outside the line of off stump. Milind Kumar helping himself to 4 more runs. This pair is putting together the type of partnership that could eventually threaten somewhere around 115. At this stage, you saw at the 6-over mark, they were at 42. So they've accelerated tremendously toward the back end of this innings, which is exactly what you'd expect from them.
I'm really keen to see how that bowling effort comes out in the second innings as well. Slapped into the offside and in a massive gap between 3 fielders. This is what they've done so well. They haven't just waited on the boundaries. They've run well between the wickets.
Speaking of which, look at the very end of this. Milind Kumar drops his bat. If this is a direct hit, he's out.
Would have been gone by a mile.
By a mile. Look at this. He also drops the bat. So had Saideep Ganesh been able to collect that, even though you didn't even need a direct hit, collecting that ball and disturbing the stumps, and you have the end of Milind Kumar.
In the gap again. And they'll stick to just the single. 10 overs gone, 87 for 2. 2 deliveries. 2 overs to come. And they're going at just under 9 runs an over. Now, we've seen the batting from the Blazers yesterday. They've certainly got some firepower. Really keen to see what the Gladiators can bring from their bowlers. I still believe they're a bit under par in terms of runs, so they're going to have to pick up some wickets here in the second innings to pick up 2 points to their name on that points table as well. That's a great partnership.
Absolutely brilliant. 62 from 42. Milind Kumar and Smith Patel contributing. Interestingly, they both faced 21 balls. Milind Kumar being the more enterprising by virtue of the fact that he has a few more runs. These next 2 overs will be tricky. So Vikash Mohan bowling around the wickets to the 2 right-handed batters. He has had some success in that last over that he bowled. He did well, had a few appeals. Now he did get frustrated and tossed one a little wide that was cut away for 4, but only gave up 7 runs in that over. And the field is set in such a way that he's inducing that shot toward the offside. So you expect for him to stay outside the line of off stump with that angle, and he can be difficult to get away under these circumstances. Catching practice for you and me, Manali.
Yeah, I'm not catching that. I'm going to sidestep out of it.
Brings to mind the question that we asked yesterday. Wonder if this glass is shatterproof, because if it's not, then we could potentially be in trouble.
That's the one you kind of look behind you and you signal to the person who's supposed to field behind you. That's yours. He's raced away. I was going to say to 46, but with that boundary, he is going to bring up his half century. Brings it up in style, Smith Patel. 50 off just 30 deliveries. In the last 10 runs, come in 2 deliveries to get him to that milestone. What a phenomenal innings this has been. Opened the batting, lost 2 early wickets, and he has played a very important role with the bat today for his side. And he knows the job's not done yet. through the offside this time and make that 4 more. How well has this been placed? There was a fielder in the deep, and he's placed it to absolute perfection.
15 runs from the over, and the damage is still going. Getting this one maybe just a little too full. I tell you what, that's not far away from going the distance as well. Smith Patel is on the charge. Just a second ago, I said it was Milind Kumar who was leading the charge, but it's continuing to be Smith Patel who goes for yet another big one. 6 more.
That is 1 flat 6, isn't it? 6, 4, 4, 6. 21 runs on this.
So what was it that I just said? This pair is threatening 100. Well, we're now at 108. They might be threatening 125 if Smith Patel keeps doing this.
Well, and this is why I was saying earlier on, they've got to break this partnership. This is a dangerous partnership. Down the ground, he'll pick up a single. Oh, this could be trouble. Slight misfield, and it's going to allow for 2 runs. You cannot afford this sort of fielding. Not when you know you've got 2 set batters out in the middle, and you're over the 100 mark already. 110 for 2 after 11.
What do you have the partnership at right now? Manali, huge partnership here. They came together when the score was 22 for 2. We pointed that out at the time.
So my question to you is, do you think it was the right decision to bowl Amir Hamza out early in the game? Do you think it would have helped to save that 1 over?
In retrospect, you can always second guess after the fact. He was hot. He was on a heater. He had momentum going. You wanted to break this partnership at the time. I have no problem having bowled him at the time that they bowled him.
In the gap, absolutely in the gap. This is a shot of absolute class. The way he opens the face of the bat and places us in the gap is really, really skillful.
Carnage. It was carved away. It was not a brutal hit. It was more placement. As you mentioned, he opened the face of the bat. There's 2 fielders in the deep. There's a deep third and a deep cover, and expertly placing it between both of them for yet another boundary.
Muscle this time, down the ground, and it's just going to be the single. But that brings the dangerous Smith Patel back on strike.
You have 4 balls remaining in this innings. 115 on the board. 125 would feel like the minimum from here, but 130, you have an outside chance of getting there.
Pulled away, goes for the short delivery. He's gonna miss out on finding the boundary. Yusuf Zazai has got to find 3 good deliveries. Keep the score under that 120 mark.
It's an interesting field. I don't know that I don't just come up and bowl the best 3 Yorkers that I can bowl here, but they're not going to do that. Slow ball into the pitch. That is certainly an option. It's an interesting field, as I started saying, because long off is wide open. Abhishek Paradkar is at mid off. They're two men in the deep, long on, and mid wicket, and then there's a square leg. So you're going to be bowling relatively straight. You're inducing the shot on the leg side. Again, easy to sit out here and guess and have a different opinion, but for me, just 3 good Yorkers is what I'd be looking for. At least 2 good Yorkers from here.
It's turning out to be a decent over.
It certainly is.
Lack of pace and keeping it as wide as possible from that swinging arc. Now, Milind Kumar doesn't seem happy about it, but that would not have been a wide, and he has most definitely hit it.
Sure, that clearly. Now, Milind Kumar loves playing the scoop shot. Third and fine leg are inside the circle. I think a scoop shot is on.
All right, we'll have to wait on that one.
Sure.
Yusuf Zazai was in 2 minds. Which delivery is this going to be? He's thinking, you're saying it's going to be a scoop shot?
It's going to be a scoop.
So he's thinking, hang on, I've got to change my bowling plans a little bit here.
Well, it's either a scoop or it's powered away to cow corner for another 6 that closes out the innings. That 6 bringing up the 100 partnership. Manali, they have put on 102 unbroken for the 3rd wicket. 124 is where you end up.
Such a good over until that last delivery. He decided to bowl a nothing delivery. It just it wasn't short enough. There wasn't enough bounce on that delivery. It just sat up nicely to be able to pull away and smash it away for 6 runs. That right there tells a story. 2 early wickets and then a very good partnership, as you've mentioned. Smith Patel 63 off 34, 6 fours, 4 sixes, along with Milind Kumar, who's just 3 runs short of his 50 at the end of the innings. 27 deliveries it took for him to get to 47, but what a partnership this is to get the Gladiators in a fairly decent position for their bowlers to come out and try and defend.
Oh my goodness, the bowlers for me. Amir Hamza Hotak stands alone. 3 overs, 2 for 14, economy rate of 4.67. Every other bowler has an economy rate of 10 or more. So essentially, you are looking at a team that has had 1 dominant bowler and several other ordinary bowlers. And because of that, you are looking upwards at 124. I thought that the bowlers would have come to the party other than just Amir Hamza Hotak, but clearly that's not been the case. And now we are going to have a very short break to see whether or not the Beyblazers can get over the mark to 125. Couple of wickets early. Amir Hamza Hotak is the one who took both of those wickets. In fact, he took the only wickets in the match so far. Smith Patel has done well. Saw that big 6 coming right back from Abhinav Sikaram. He got his wicket. Then a lot of reverse sweeps, a lot of power hitting down the ground, a lot of just brilliant scoops like that one, what Milind Kumar almost always does. And they just were very consistent, weren't they? Just getting to the right position, angled off the sweep shots off the bat, everything in really exactly the way that you wanted it. Smith Patel himself getting to his 50. Milind Kumar will be a little bit disappointed that he did not get there, but doesn't matter in the big picture because that last ball put away for 6 over mid-wicket means that they have about the best chance of winning this match. As of right now, you would think they have a nose ahead in this game, the primary Gladiators. So 125 needed from 72. Short break from us here in the commentary area. We'll be back shortly. Back here in Purview, Imran Khan to continue the plethora of left-arm fast bowlers. Looking to see whether or not the Beyblazers can overhaul a target of 125. Manala Patel, good morning again.
Very good morning to you as well, Brian. In for the chase, 124 runs needed off 71 deliveries. Wickets is going to be the name of the game if you're the Gladiators, especially because we've seen the firepower that the Blazers side has from yesterday. But we have been entertained in that first innings. Some excellent batting from Smith Patel and Milind Kumar. 63 off 34 for Smith Patel, 47 off 27 for Milind Kumar. Now it's up to the bowlers. For the Gladiators, they've started well. Half a shout on that first delivery as well. The bowler just signaling back to the wicketkeeper that would have been going down. Good amount of honesty there for a fast bowler.
Somebody said something about that earlier, right? But Imran Khan, no longer as pacey as he was a few years ago, but the in swing to the right is what his stock ball is. Starting out well here, just one run from the first 3 balls of over number 1, and it will be a stiff ask. But you saw yesterday Suleiman Arabzai, some 86 if I remember correctly, and
87.
87, missed it by 1. Brutal batting, and he has the ability to hit the long ball, so he will be key in this chase.
That's pretty high. It is a big shout. I think it's very optimistic. It might have also been outside that off-stump line, just a smidge. I think the height was definitely a question mark for me.
Certainly height. You saw umpire Karthik Mongati signaling that it was high. Let's see where the impact is. Pitch is on, straightening, but ooh, this is a good shout. Height, looking at it square like we are, it seemed like height was an issue. That replay says maybe it would have been kissing the top of middle, but in real time, I think that's tricky and difficult to give out. Again, height for me would have been the only thing. Certainly would not have been outside the line of off stump, and it did pitch on.
Popped up. Oh. Simple as you like. And how big is this wicket? This is the danger man from yesterday. 87 runs yesterday, smashed it all around the park. And they needed this wicket, the Gladiators. Imran Khan gets the man he was looking for. Big shout the ball before, didn't get the wicket. Does the job this time by himself.
Leading edge. Looking to turn this away on the leg side. The swing was taking it down the leg side, and Suleiman Arabzai looking to turn it away on the leg side. But the leading edge just gives the simplest of return chances. 5-year-old can take that type of a return catch and easily taken by Imran Khan. Suleiman Arabzai, some days it is your day, some days it's not. Some days you are the pigeon, other days you are the tree. And unfortunately, you never heard that before?
No.
Okay, if you think about it for a while, you'll see what it means. But this is actually starting out very similar to the way that the first inning started out. 1 run on the board in the first innings before the wicket fell. Here, it's another simple catch, and that catch taken by the bowler himself. Imran Khan. Zahid Zakil is the new batter coming in at number 3.
Still got a lot of batting in this lineup, so you can't just write them off yet. We saw that in the first innings as well. 2 early wickets still ended up as a very good score. Hasbullah Durrani getting runs yesterday as well. Good partnership between him and Suleiman Arabzai. Now they have to rebuild. Very early days still, with 67 deliveries to come. Down the track, and great awareness by Smith Patel. It's going to be a dot to end a very good over. Just the 1 run coming off of it. It's 1 for 1 after 1.
That sounds familiar. Look at this again. Huge swipe. Smith Patel, very aware, but give credit to the batter himself who regained his position in the crease. So both innings have started out in identical fashion. A simple catch and 1 for 1 at the end of 1.
Milind Kumar runs off the bat and now looking to pick up a few wickets to his name as well. All-round performance.
It's a bit power play. Strike.
Fired in Milind Kumar, and two straight, two full, latched on beautifully by Hasbullah Durrani.
I was saying that it was risky bowling the off spinner inside the power play to the right-hander, but it made it that much more of a question of the decision if the first ball is fired in down the leg side and short.
Well, you can't be bowling that.
Regardless of where in the piece you're bowling, a full ball down the line of leg stump, or I should say a short ball outside the line of leg stump going down, that is inviting a big shot on the leg side. And so Milind Kumar will know to keep that ball outside the line of off stump.
Very optimistic shout again. He's just not getting the line where he'd quite like it to be.
Leg by signal by umpire Owen Brown. Let's see where this one is. Milind Kumar now going around the wicket to the left-handed hitting Zaid Zakil. Maybe we'll get a chance to look at that leg before shout after this ball, but yeah, I think the line there would have been a problem.
Too short, too wide, and it's gonna roll into the boundary. Not a good delivery. It's two poor deliveries in the three that he's bowled so far. And again, tough for an off spinner, as you've mentioned early on, but he is bowling to the left hander at the moment. He's just completely missed his mark.
Yeah, this is very short and a bit of a hit me ball from Milind Kumar. That ball really needs to be a little bit fuller and a lot closer in terms of the line. That's a better deliver there. Good comeback ball. But again, I always thought that it was going to be risky to bring the off spinner on inside the power play. Milind Kumar has two more balls to change my mind.
High up in the air, two fielders getting under it, and this has been put down. This is not what you want if you're the Gladiators. Should have been taken. He was under it for quite some time. It was swirling, it is windy, but not a good enough excuse. You've got to be able to hold on to these.
It's Captain Sudesh Patare, who I said Milind Kumar had two balls to change my mind, and he changed my mind with that one ball to the lefty. But boy, you got to take that.
But the difference on that delivery was he didn't fire it in. He allowed for that flight. Big shout again, and the finger is going to go up. It's the flight. It allows for the drift. It also allows for the batter to second guess themselves. And he does pick up a wicket off the last delivery of his over.
That's why you bring the off spinner in to do that. That's a great delivery. Very full, and you mentioned that ball was tossed up. When you fire it in, you invite the big shot. Essentially, you become a medium pacer. When you toss it up, you give a little bit of room for Hasbullah Durrani to attempt to maybe think about what shot he wants to play instead of being reactive. It tends to be something that is very tricky to get away. So that's why you would bowl the off spinner in the power play. Back going to the first inning, Smith Patel with a huge innings. Few of his shots here that I think really helped propel his team to a very challenging total. I think you've seen evidence that he can score all around the wicket. And the best thing about his innings is that it was paced very well. For a while, Milind Kumar was the one who was ahead in terms of his scoring rate. But Smith Patel accelerating, running through the line, if you don't mind, if you to use a track phrase. And at the point where you are now, that second wicket has made a very big difference because the two openers are now back in the hutch. And your former countryman, Nitish Kumar, is now at the crease. His team in trouble, 13 for 2.
Spilla Durrani, big wicket. Saw some lusty blows from him yesterday as well, and they'll be happy to have him back in the pavilion. That's one thing that I do find spinners now just don't do enough. They don't want to give it a bit of air. They don't want to slow it down. And I still think there is room for it if it's done right. Shape.
Chopped on. My goodness. Slower delivery. And he played a weak early. Zaid Zakil on the edge, makes the ball trickle onto the stumps. 3 wickets inside the power play, and the Beyblazers are collapsing in a heap.
Just beautiful shape on that delivery, taking it away from the left-hander, and just got in an awful position to play it, to manage to chop it on all the way outside off stump. It is the back of the hand delivery as well.
But look at the movement that he gets from that back of the hand delivery. It was an outswinger from the back of the hand delivery. I don't know if we can get a close-up of the seam position when he releases this, but that ball was swinging away tremendously from the back of the hand, which to me tells me that that seam would have been upright the entire way. Look at this again. If we get the chance to look at that delivery again up close. But this is an expert piece of work from Imran Khan. And boy, that is absolutely brilliant. So Zaid Zakil is the man who's been dismissed. And now the captain, Saideep Ganesh, joins Nitish Kumar. Here's Imran Khan Jr. again. Going back in the crease. Long appeal. Umpire Karthik Mangatil thinks this is probably a little high. Signal here. Let's take a look at this replay again. Look at this. In fact, this is the LBW shouts. Okay, doing too much going down the leg side. I think this is a good appeal or a good decision. Smith Patel with the ultra appeal from behind the stumps, but I think it's a good decision by umpire Karthik Mangatil. After this replay, we'll have to take another look at that dismissal from Imran Khan, because that was a brilliant piece of bowling. Absolutely brilliant from him. We'll take a look at that after this next delivery. Assuming this one is not a wicket, by the way. 14 for 3, 1-1-1 needed.
Listen, let the Canadian play, okay?
let's take a look at this, as this is a single. Nitish Kumar comes off the mark. And let's take a look at this. Look at the delivery, just to the back of the hand. And look how that ball swings. It is swinging away. I will tell you that that is a high level of skill to get the ball to swing like that from the back of the hand. That is not easy to do.
Oh, spray that. Loose delivery. Full toss, really wide, and easy pickings for Saideep Ganesh. The skipper out in the middle at a very difficult time for his side today.
Oh my goodness, yeah. This is a hit me ball. Very wide. Would have been called wide had it not been played. And all Saideep Ganesh had to do is get bat on it. Nobody's sweeping on the offside. So easily put away for 4 by the captain.
It's a tough time for the Blazers at the moment because it's a shortened game.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a lot of time to get to that target of 125.
Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at this delivery again. Look at this from the back of the... Oh, that's not the back of the hand. That was the one that was struck away for 4. Take a look at this one more time after this over, maybe. Appeal. No. Smith Patel thinks it's out. Umpire Karthik Mangatil does not agree. Take a look at this again. Look at the delivery. Back of the hand. Look at the seam. It is angled towards the bottom left of your screen. That tells me that's the direction that the ball will be swinging in. And that outswing is what does him. Not often that you see a ball chopped on from 2 feet wide of the stumps.
I think he also played very early because of the lack of pace.
That's exactly right.
Three overs gone, 19 for 3. Shortened game, 12 over game. Need plenty more from here on. 106 off just 54 deliveries, which means despite losing 3 early wickets, you don't really have the time out in the middle to try and settle things down. And that's the issue when you're batting second. There is that scoreboard pressure that you're dealing with.
Mm-hmm. Well, 3 overs in the books. 4th over to be bowled by a long-time servant of USA Cricket, Adil Bhatti. Started his career as a top-order batter and has morphed over the last several years to being a strike bowler. Adil Bhatti now bowling to Sadiq Ganesh, the captain, who you would think would be one who is looking. In fact, this is my apologies. Nitish Kumar is on strike. It's going to be an interesting matchup. Slip fielder in position. Interesting that you see that fielder there. Oh. What a big wicket that one is. Your fellow Canadian, Manali Patel, is still having trouble putting runs on the board. A leading edge in the air, taken in the covers. Wicket number 4 is down inside the power play, and the Blazers are collapsing in a heap.
Thick edge and skied high. This is taken well. Running backwards, never easy to take those catches. It makes it look very easy in the end. And you said it, they are collapsing in a heap here. 19 for 4 as Adil Bhatti comes in and picks up a wicket. I've got to rebuild seriously here, the Beyblazers. I'm just not sure how they're going to try and do that 4 wickets down.
Well, let's just say they are staring at a very steep hill that they have to climb here. You need another 106 runs, and you need them in 53 deliveries. So that's exactly a required rate of 12 and over, with your top 4 batters having been dismissed. That makes it very difficult. Mentioned this young man earlier when he was bowling, that he was a good all-rounder. Well, he's going to be needed here, Abhishek Paradkar, to contribute heavily with the bat, because they are now really down to the bottom of the middle order. And yes, you have a few of the bowlers toward the bottom who can throw their bat around, but you really need this partnership to get on somewhere in the next 5 or 6 overs to be scoring at around 10 and over, to see if the remainder at the end of the innings can come in and sort of throw their bats and get over the line. But it's going to be really, really difficult from here.
I have been meaning to ask you, why is this facility so windy? Is there a channel of weather pattern that passes through here that we should know about? What is the reason for this extra breeze here?
It's all in the name. Prairie view. You're wide open in the prairie. There are no buildings to break up the wind. It is almost always going to be windier here than it is, for example, if you were to travel 50 miles to the east to go to Houston. In the Houston area, the 4th largest city in the country, you have a lot of buildings. All of that breaks up the gusts of wind. There's nothing in this part of the state that prevents the wind from just blowing across.
Massive shout. Umpire not interested in that. Leg by signaled. close was this?
Yes. First of all, pitching to me maybe just outside the line of leg stump. It's marginal. It's really very close. But again, it's a left-handed batter, and the bowler ideal bat is bowling over the wicket. So the first thing that umpire Owen Brown has to consider is whether or not that ball is pitching outside the line of leg stump. On that occasion, deciding that it was.
The umpires have been busy, haven't they? Lots of appeals so far.
Umpiring is a hard job. You and I have established that over the conversations that we've had in the last day and call it 16 overs. And by the way, with that fourth delivery, that now signals the end of the power play, so you can be a little bit more spread out now. But I don't anticipate that they'll immediately change because this attacking field is certainly working for them at the moment.
I've always wondered how the umpires umpiring test matches do it, because that is a long day of standing out there. And not just that, but you've got to concentrate on every single delivery. 90 overs worth.
I was saying something similar to a fellow commentator in a recent tournament I was working on. If you, let's say you're a fast bowler, in a test match, in a typical day in a test match, you can expect to bowl, let's say 20 overs, right? But in 20 overs, when you're not bowling, you're down at fine leg, or you're essentially being able to take mental breaks every once in a while.
Oh, this is not the most effective ramp shot.
Well, I got fooled, didn't he? Just played that shot a little bit too early. But just to finish that point, end of the over, 21 for 4. In fact, let's take a look at this replay first, because I think it gets through that scoop shot a little too early and ends up wearing the cricket ball there, right in the neck. Abhishek Paradkar will know that it's a little bit difficult to digest a ball that's 3.4 ounces, and he will not want to play that shot again, I don't think. And speaking of left-handed fast bowlers, here is yet another one. Stephen Wigg will take up the attack. But to finish that thought, as an umpire, 90 overs, 540 deliveries, you have to be mentally switched on for every single one of those balls. It is a really, really hard job. And I cannot express how what you just said is accurate, because let's say I didn't understand how somebody like David Shepard, for example, God rest his soul, who is, when he was umpiring, he was in his middle 60s. I find it more difficult to umpire just physically than I did when I was playing, because it is not only a physically taxing job, but mentally you cannot take a break either. And so it is, your point is exactly right. Umpiring is extremely, extremely hard.
2 straight and helped for 4 more. Not the start that Stephen Wigg would have liked.
Stop me if you've heard this before. If you're 2 straight, left armor over the wicket, you have to be outside the line of off stump. Anything that is going toward the pads is meat and drinks for the batters. And you know what? Let me check that comment, because that's actually not as straight as I thought. If he misses that, he's out LBW. So that's actually pitching on the line of leg stump. But it's an aggressive shot. Saideep Ganesh knows that he needs to get on with it. His team is falling behind on the required rate, so that's a good shot to start. Stephen Wigg still, though, wants to be outside the line of off stump, like there.
Better delivery. Drawing the batter forward as well into that drive. Now, he did have a really good MLC last year, didn't he?
He did. He's always been one of my favorite bowlers. Let's take a look at this replay here. Where did this ball pitch? Oh my goodness. Right there, probably 2/3 of the ball pitches in line, 1/3 pitches outside the line. Oh my goodness. Getting back to live action here though. This is an overstep and a free hit coming. Stephen Wigg not having the best of starts to his spell. Maybe we get another look at that replay. Maybe after the free hit we'll get a look at that replay, because that calls to mind an important point. Left armer bowling over the wicket to a right-handed batter, or a right-hander bowling over the wicket to a lefty. The one thing you're going to have to consider is whether or not the ball is pitching outside the line of leg stump. This here is a free hit. That is a lovely shot. It was a free hit, so you can have more of an enterprising approach, but he still have to put it away. That goes away for 4.
I saw a really interesting stat yesterday as we take a look at this free hit.
Yep.
Well placed, well played, 4 runs. Nathan Lyon, who has played some astronomical number of games and bowled some astronomical number of deliveries, has never bowled a front foot no ball. Never.
Nathan Lyon is a great bowler. Nathan Lyon is a spinner.
Yeah. I'm just saying, it's a really cool stat.
The great Michael Holding has never, I wouldn't say never, has bowled an astronomically small number of no balls for his entire career. And his run-up started from
Outside the ground.
85 yards away.
He's running it from the stands.
So I am much more impressed with a minimal number of no balls bowled by Michael Holding and a minimal number of wides bowled by Michael Holding than Nathan Lyon.
Thick outside edge, unlucky for the bowler. And that's going to bleed away for 4 more. Expensive over from Stephen Wigg so far, with a delivery yet to come.
This one, I do not fault him at all. That's a genuine top edge. Flies away over the cordon. Maybe again a moral victory for the bowler. He did induce a false shot. That's a top edge. And another day that settles into the keeper's gloves. But the line for me is the most important thing. That last ball, there you see, top of your screen, you saw Smith Patel applauding, because that's the type of ball that he wants from his strike bowler.
Pulled away. There is a fielder in the deep. It's going to be just single to end a 14-run over. 5 overs gone, 35 for 4. I've got to try and find you this stat, this Nathan Lyon stat, because I know you say you're not as impressed, but I am very impressed by this, and I'll tell you why.
His
because
run-up is like 3 yards. So.
It doesn't matter. We see spinners all the time bowling. We see spinners bowling wides, and
no
for
balls,
this,
you mean? While you look for that stat, let's look at this replay again. This is the LBW shout. Now, the difference here, oh, this is really close. Honestly, if I am the umpire who is the third umpire giving the decision on that, I'd probably overturn it and call it out. Now, having said that, it's not an easy decision to make in real time. And again, as an umpire, you have to be thinking, is it pitching on? And the first thing that you're thinking as an umpire, it's a left-handed batter, he's a right-handed bowler, he's bowling over the wicket. Every chance that that ball is pitching outside the line of leg stump. At least some of the ball there is pitching outside leg stump. So that's why, in my mind, that was given as not out.
okay, ready for this?
I'm so ready for this.
Okay. 14 years, 34,832 deliveries across 141 test matches.
These are
He has
huge
not
numbers.
bowled
These are gigantic numbers, but
a
he
single
is a
overstepping no ball.
His spinner bowling from right here. It's from here to that table.
Nathan Lyon.
That's nothing. His run-up, I would agree with that. Impress me with a bowler who is able to. If you have a single bowler a fast bowler who goes through an entire season without bowling a no ball, that is more impressive than Nathan Lyon bowling for 141 tests without a no ball.
Okay, serious question.
Yes.
Do we see spinners bowling no balls?
We absolutely do, which is
So-
just, it infuriates me.
Yes, but it happens.
The reason why it infuriates me is because it should not happen. Your run-up is a couple of yards. There's no reason for you to overstep the crease if your run-up is that short.
But it happens.
It absolutely happens.
Which is exactly why this stat is so impressive.
That's why I'm not at all impressed by that stat, because it's not supposed to happen. You're giving credit for something that should not. You don't need credit for that.
With that logic, even pace bowlers should not be bowling no balls, because let's face it, you are marking your run-up every single time that you start a game. You should know your run-up.
You are sprinting in from 25, 30, 35 yards away. There is much more of a chance that you might overstep if you're running in like that. If you're a spinner who's trundling up and turning your arm over, zero reason why you should ever bowl a front foot no ball. Zero. That hill I'll die on, Manana Patel.
To those of you spinners following this action, I'm with you. And I am impressed by that stat, because that's a lot of deliveries. Should be safe in no man's land. You'll never impress a pace bowler.
I would not go that far. There are several things that a spinner does that I could never do, and I greatly am appreciative of the skill. But not being able to bowl no balls is not one that you should get credit for. Let's take a look at this. Interesting. He does angle his run up there, or his approach to the non-striker's end, or to the striker's end. There is a bit of an appeal. I don't know that that would ever be given out, but you might want to suggest to Abhishek Paradkar that he should just run straight down the pitch as opposed to going across in line with the stumps.
I mean, I don't think there was ever a chance for a run out there, but he might have a bit of a bruise on his back later.
I would agree with that.
6 overs gone. It's 42 for 4. And that target of 125 still seems very far away for the Blazers.
83 needed in 36. That just makes it extremely difficult. 13.83 runs and over is a pretty heavy lift. Doesn't get any easier here because it is Vedant Pathak who will be coming in. Oh, that is a brutal strike. Down the leg side, and he helps himself to 4 runs.
It's an excellent shot. Keeps nice and low. It's just helped along the way.
You note how many times that when the batters are too straight, when the bowlers are too straight and the ball is going down the leg side. Look at this. From that line, there is so much evidence to say that you need to be bowling an off-stump line. That happens when you bowl an off-stump line. The ball gets punched down the ground for a single. When you're too straight, you give up big hits all around the world. All around the park.
Wow, it's a pretty small world there that you talk about.
I was reading something else at the time. I don't multitask as well as I think I did.
I'm not going to say anything to that.
Keep it closed. Keep it closed.
Multitasking is a skill, though. A very important skill.
Let's just say there's so many different thoughts in my head right now, most of which have nothing to do with cricket.
Unlucky for the bowler. Not the best of deliveries, though. And just a very thick outside edge for this to run away for 4 more.
Yeah. Maybe just a touch of width. Can't necessarily blame Vedant Pathak with that because he's bowling outside the line of off stump and he does induce the edge. That is certainly off the edge. But when they say go after it, if you go after it, you go after it hard. And that's why they say that. Abhishek Paradkar cashing in on just a ball maybe just maybe 2 stump widths too wide, and he gets 4 runs. That's better. Much better line and a fuller length, inducing the attempted drive by Abhishek Paradkar. Dot ball here. Just 9 from the over already with 2 to come. So the hill to climb keeps getting steeper. 74 needed from the next 32 balls. The required rate almost 14. Makes it very difficult. Of course, with that 4 that came up the edge that went down to deep third, that brought up the 50. So, you know, you look at hurdles that you need to overcome and little obstacles in the way you want to get past that 50, but my goodness, still have a very long way to go here. Another similar delivery outside the line of off stump. Almost an instant replay of the last ball. Abhishek Paradkar looking for that big drive, but once again, Manali, the ball being outside the line of off stump makes the difference.
Required run rate 14.32. That is a tall task from here on. And they're going to need a couple of massive overs to just try and reduce that pressure. Oh, he would have been gone. He would have been gone by a mile. That is very lazy running. You've got to be better aware in a game.
This is me taking up for Abhishek Paradkar. He gave up because he had, regardless of how fast he was running, he's gone by a mile if that hits. So even if he's diving, that dive would have come in well after the ball would have hit the stumps. So he essentially gave up because he knew that there's no way he'd have made his ground. You have to start taking chances if you're going to overhaul 14 runs and over. And maybe that was their decision to just, well, it certainly was their decision. Maybe they've chosen to be more aggressive running between the wickets. To your point, had he dived, he would have made it. Maybe he would have had to do laundry. But either way, if that hits, he's gone by a mile. Whether he's jogging or sprinting. Milind Kumar back into the attack. This is his 3rd over. Again, in this format, 12-over game, 2 bowlers get to bowl 3, and 3 bowlers get to bowl 2, if you will. And so Milind Kumar is now into his last over. Catchable. Oh, just falling short. Stephen Wigg down at the boundary. Oh, a direct hit. As they say, it's all happening. Great diving effort by Stephen Wigg. Didn't quite get there in time, but then he does well to pick up that loose or that ball off the turf and then fire to the non-striker's end and a direct hit from about 45 yards. I'll tell you what, that's not far away. Good work in the deep by Stephen Wigg.
That's a very interesting appeal by Smith Patel.
Appealing for stomach before wicket, it looks like.
Belly button. Belly button before wicket.
BBW. That's a whole other thing. I'm ready to wait the square. Play it to square leg for a single. In any event, back to the cricket. The hill to climb continues to get steeper. Last 2 balls coming up, and that required rate up now to almost 16. So it might be time to just throw caution to the wind here because 1s and 2s are no longer going to do it.
Well,
Appeal. Umpire Owen Brown says this one is in front. He raises the finger. Wicket number 5 is down. Take a look at this again because he's bowling around the wicket, Milind Kumar, to the left-hander. So let's see what this looks like. Ooh, this is very, very close. The question to be asked is the contact outside the line of off stump? That is the only question to be answered. If the answer to that question is in the affirmative, because the batter is playing a shot, by definition, he would be not out. Let's take a look at this. Oh.
Tell you what, he's really gotten away with one here, Milind Kumar.
Yeah, we again have the ability to slow this down and look at it 3 or 4 different times. I think if umpire Owen Brown looks at that replay, he will probably this is outside the line of off stump.
Well, 7.5 overs gone. It's 56 for 5. And they continue to tumble here at the Beyblazers halfway through this batting lineup. And with a lot more work still needed to get over the line.
Look at the reaction of the batter here. Thinking, oh yes, that's exactly what Abhishek Paradkar is saying. It is outside the line of off stump. Back to live action. The last ball of over number 8 is a single. Vikash Mohan will keep the strike side. Ganesh 28 from 19 as the non-striker, but big picture, Milind Kumar has taken another wicket, and the Beyblazers slip further and further into obscurity. 57 for 5. So, last 4 overs coming up. 68 needed from 24. Around, when I said around, I mean A space round 17 runs per over needed the rest of the way. Needless to say, when you're facing a climb where you have around 1 run every 3 balls needed, you need 4s and 6s. You absolutely need 4s and 6s, and having to do that with 5 of your top order done means that essentially you're praying for divine intervention at this stage.
I know someone who might be able to help with that.
You just keep it closed, please. You absolutely keep it closed.
I didn't say who, I just said know someone.
I'm just saying keep it closed.
68 needed off 23 deliveries.
Vikash Mohan 1 from 1. Sadeep Ganesh 28 from 19.
So you're not going to be here tomorrow.
I will not be here tomorrow.
You're going to miss all the action out in the middle.
I will. There will be plenty of action where I will be, but it will have nothing to do with cricket.
Swing and a miss. And yeah, there's the frustration. Sadeep Ganesh. Skipper 28 of 19. He knows it's a tall task from here on. Once you start getting into 17, 18 required run rate territory.
Mm-hmm.
You know you're in a bit of trouble. That's going to help. How well has this been played? That's a wide of the fielder as well.
That will help. This is very close. It's not a no ball, but it's close to being a no ball in terms of height. But you still have to put them away, Sadeep Ganesh, and he does well expertly here. Well over to that backward square leg area. So you need a whole lot more of that. But that's certainly one hallmark of a good batter. If you get a bad ball, you put it away.
Won't find the boundary this time. will get across for 2 runs. Oh, make that 3 with the overthrows. Trouble. Big trouble here. Looking to run on the overthrow, and this is excellent work in the field. Smith Patel is so quick to whip those bails off on that return throw. And that is a horrible way to lose yet another wicket.
That should have been 1. Because on the second run, that easily could have and really likely should have been a run out. If this is collected, that's probably out. But then here, Saideep Ganesh just kind of jogging to the non-striker's end, but at the striker's end, Smith Patel with the collection, and he finds the runner short of his crease by a fair distance. So that is the end of Vikash Mohan, and they continue to struggle here. The Beyblazers are going to go down in a heap here at the Prairie View Cricket Complex. On a misfield. Yep. Oldest rule in cricket.
Don't run on a misfield, and that's exactly what they've done, and have lost a wicket. Good thing though, they've still got the skipper out there, Saideep Ganesh, 36 off 22. I still think 1 decent over could completely change this. It is 66 for 6, by the way.
Very devilish score that you just highlighted. Thank God you just got the single to get off of those numbers.
I think off air you're gonna have to explain to me why that is the devil's number.
I mean, I'm no expert on the occult or anything else. I just know that 666, the mark of the beast, the devil, all of that. You know what? Never mind. I need to get you to watch a good horror movie. That's what I need
God,
to do.
no. Drilled straight back. Does he get a finger on this? No, does not get a finger on this.
Gone. He deflected off of the hand of the bowler back onto the stumps. That is the end of Amir Hamza Hotak. Wow. It is about the most frustrating way to be dismissed. Look at this.
Drilled.
Oh, yeah. We're obstructed from view of his hand at the point where the ball is passing it. But there was no question in the mind of umpire Karthik Mangathil that his hand actually flicked the ball on the way through. So that is wicket number 7. Couple of wickets in this over, and we may not go the full 12 overs here, Manali.
Let's do it.
See if we can take a look at this again from this angle there. Now, we're a little bit far away, and maybe if we were able to zoom in a little bit better, we'd have a better opinion. But umpire Karthik Mangathil does not have any doubt that that flicked the fingers all the way through. So Saideep Ganesh is still there. The new batter is going to be Faisal Ahmedzai. It is Amir Hamza Hotak who has been dismissed. And it's just a matter of what the difference is now.
Reversed. Straight to the skipper. As they pick up a single. 67 for 7. Total day and night batting compared to yesterday from the Beyblazers. Consistency. Well fielded. Consistency is so important, isn't it, in a tournament? And there's a really good chance a lot of these games are going to come down to the net run rate.
Well, you take a pounding on net run rate if you're not able to at least stay within a range of the target. You're now at this point needing 55 from 16. Needless to say, you need more than 3 runs off of every ball the rest of the way, and that makes it difficult to do anything but fall behind the net run rate.
Trouble. Gone.
Yet another one, and look at this, Manala. This is a direct hit from about 50 yards away. Okay, maybe it's my eyes. In any event, he's been run out. So
Oh,
that
it's
is
not-
8 down, Manali.
It's not the way you want to tumble on wickets.
No.
Running between the wickets, basics. And this is great work in the field. Swept away. Should have stuck to the single. They were running both runs hard, but take a look at how quick Smith Patel is behind the stumps.
So, in my defense, Smith Patel, you're looking at the screen, I'm looking at the live action. I was shielded from exactly what happened. So, it did look from me like it was a direct run out, or a direct hit. But either way, it's a run out. 71 for 8. You are into the 10th over. By goodness, this is just gone pear-shaped for the Beyblazers all of a sudden. It's the captain, Sadeep Ganesh, who has been run out, I believe.
That is 3 wickets in a row that have been, or that have come in the form of runouts. Bikash Mohan, Amir Hotak, and now Sadeep Ganesh.
Wow, wickets tumbling here.
I think it's pretty good. It's a pretty good showing of their reliance on their opening batters as well, isn't it, for the Beyblazers? They need at least one of their opening batters to get them off to a decent start. Because the batting's looked a bit weak after the first 3 batters on the lineup.
One thing to consider too, because of the dominance of the top order yesterday, the middle order really got no time in the middle. So, you know, you're not necessarily match ready from that perspective. Looking for 2 here. Nope, not gonna happen. So you've gotten to the point now. 10 overs in, 74 for 8. Is there a way for you to manufacture 51 runs from 12 balls?
I think winning from here on is going to be very difficult. But like I said, there is a chance that some of these games will be affected by net run rate. You want to try and get as many on the board as you can. This is how it's gone so far with the wickets. Early wicket to go. Arab Zai was the first, followed by Hasbulla Durrani. Chopped on then by Zahid Zakil. And then it was Nitish Kumar, thick outside edge, and a pretty easy catch despite running backwards. Bikash Mohan next to go. That was a tough decision as well. It looked like it would have been outside off. And Amir Hamza Hotak, the next one to go after that run out. Great awareness by the fielders. And the last one will be Sadeep Ganesh, the skipper. Run out as well.
Well, Stephen Wigg to bowl the penultimate over of the innings. You typically give this over to your best bowler, but when you're looking upwards of 26 runs and over, I guess that doesn't matter as much. Well, let's see what happens in the next 3 overs, or the next 2 overs. Yes, you're essentially going to lose this match. It's almost predetermined at this stage, but you don't want to take as much of a pounding on net run rate. So do you see how you can manufacture a way to get maybe 25 or so runs in the next 2 overs. That gets you a little bit closer. Yes, you lose, but the effect on the net run rate calculations does not hurt you as much.
Sure, Stephen Wigg would love to finish his spell with a couple of wickets to his name. Expensive first over, 15 runs coming off of it. Try and turn things around. Always a good feeling to finish a spell on a high, especially with more games to come.
Mm-hmm.
Should just be the single.
It's a good looking shot, very wristy. Just whipping it away.
Oh, he would have been gone. Needed a direct hit on that. Batter had completely given up on getting back. Been some dicey runs taken out in the middle. This is a good throw. Just needed to find a little bit of ball on those stumps. Oh, that's put down. Never nice for the bowler.
No. Fair to say the intrigue is gone out of this game, Manali.
I think so. Very full. Does very well to actually get it as far as he did.
Yeah,
but this should have been taken.
That. Milind Kumar does not put very many down. That's surprising to see that happen.
Stephen Wigg's like, you just took a wicket away from me.
Exactly.
Short, wide, no real connection though.
So
This game almost done, but when we start the next game, Brian, you've got to tell me if you've played any other sports growing up.
The only sport that I ever represented my school in Jamaica, football, soccer. My high school in Jamaica did not have a cricket team. So as much cricket as I loved growing up, I only played socially because my high school did not have a cricket team.
Oh, that is some shot. And that is straight into the hands. Tried to bring a bit of the helicopter into it. And this time the catch is held on, and that's going to be the 9th wicket. Stephen Wigg does pick up a wicket to his name.
Interesting because he goes back onto the back foot and plays a shot down the ground. I think if he plays this on the front foot, it goes the distance. But he's back on the back foot, and he tries the helicopter shot. If he steps into that and plays it over extra cover, he gets more of an effect from that shot. But there's a reason maybe why he's batting toward the lower order as opposed to being a top order batter. At this stage, it's just a matter of knowing what the final margin of victory is going to be. 79 for 9 at the end of over number 11. A small matter of 46 runs needed from the last over. Last over coming up. So as you get to the end of this game, Manali, you would have seen at this stage several of the teams that are playing in this tournament. Who has impressed you so far?
It's hard to say that any single team has impressed because we've seen, take the Blazers for example, we've seen a very strong side in them yesterday, and then today it's completely different. He's teed off, doesn't have the distance. There is a fielder getting under it. And that is as easy as you like. Khurram Nawaz Khan gets under it, completes the catch, and they have been bowled out, the Beyblazers.
Yeah, pretty straightforward catch, no distance. You see the 30-yard circle right there. So that ball probably goes 40 yards. Not nearly enough. But at this stage, it doesn't matter much anyway. Now, would not have taken much to bat through the innings. And it makes for horrible TV, but from a net run rate perspective, it would have been to your advantage. But doesn't matter at this stage. Prime Raider Gladiators win by the margin of 4-4 runs. Quick look at the batting card. Not much resistance. Sayadeep Ganesh and Abhishek Paradkar, only two in double figures. That's not going to do much good for you. You lose wickets at the top and consistently lose wickets down the lineup. Only resistance offered being Abhishek Paradkar, Sayadeep Ganesh. That just essentially is a recipe for defeat. Pretty straightforward victory in the end for the Prime Raider Gladiators.
Bowling on the other hand, very tidy. A couple of early wickets picked up as well. 2 wickets each to Imran Khan, Milind Kumar, and a wicket each to Adil Bhatti, Stephen Wigg, and Avik Dixit. All in all, the economy rate tells a story. Adil Bhatti, just the 1 run that he's given in his 1 over. Picked up a wicket as well. Didn't start well though today for the Beyblazers. Early wicket of Suleiman Arbzai. And unfortunately, despite the few runs that we saw scored in this innings, it was the wickets that told a story. Hasbullah Durrani to go shortly after, followed by Zahid Zakil. A bit of reprieve in the middle until this moment right here. Nitish Kumar skying 1 up. And an easy catch in the end. A couple of shots down the leg side, a couple of lucky breaks as well. So a bit of innovation in there. This very unlucky for the batter, but the finger does go up and Milind Kumar picks up his 2nd wicket. Overall, the bowling has been very tidy and the field placements have been spot on as well. The dot ball percentages didn't help the pressure. And this was a shocker. Ran off a misfield. And on that 3rd run, quick hands of Smith Patel finishing the job to pick up the wicket of Bikash Mohan. And shortly after, unlucky way to go, Amir Hamza Hotak run out at the non-strikers end, followed by Sayadeep Ganesh being the final run out. Also going back for that 2nd. Smith Patel doing a good job again behind the stumps to finish that run out. Last wicket, Faisal Ahmadzai caught in the deep as Stephen Wigg also picks up a wicket to his name. Never really got going today, the Beyblazers. It was all about the bowling of the Gladiators. 124 put up in that first innings thanks to really good partnership between Smith Patel and Milind Kumar, and in reply they are bowled out for 80 runs, the Beyblazers today. The Prime Raider Gladiators have won this contest by 44 runs. We're going to take a short break here and we'll be back in about 15 minutes time with game number 2 for the day. See you in a bit.